chicks who like to have sex with comedians.
Well, there's a term for that. Oh, I should get a term. Devil bunnies. Oh, no, Lucy fans.
Can you please?
Oh, no.
I believe we can all agree that Rory Morningstar's story in Lucifer was one of pain, redemption, and unexpected purpose. Season 6 revolved around the mystery of why Lucifer abandoned her, and by the series' end, she understood his reasons. However, there is still a wealth of story potential for Rory beyond the finale. A Netflix miniseries could explore Rory's future, her relationship with her celestial heritage, and her journey toward defining her own purpose outside of her father's legacy. There are some insiders saying that the miniseries could pick up after the events of Lucifer, focusing on Rory in the future, long after Chloe's passing. Despite finding peace with Lucifer's decision, Rory remains burdened by the emotional weight of her father's identity, rebellious nature, but also his sense of justice. What if Rory, like Lucifer, feels drawn toward a higher purpose, one that forces her to walk the fine line between good and evil? That said, a miniseries could explore Rory's unique abilities as a half-angel, half-human entity. In Lucifer, she self-actualized time travel out of grief and anger. If she has control over this power now, what else could she do? Given her celestial bloodline, Rory could be tasked with a new mission, protecting souls caught between heaven and hell. Unlike Lucifer, who focused on redeeming the damned, Rory could help prevent people from falling into darkness in the first place. Perhaps she takes on the role of an unseen guardian, visiting people at their most vulnerable moments and guiding them toward better choices. But would this make her an agent of God or a rogue celestial carving out her own path? This internal struggle could be a central theme, showing her trying to avoid the mistakes of both Lucifer and God while forging her own destiny. Furthermore, Lucifer's choice to heal the souls of hell was groundbreaking, but not without consequences. The system of damnation and redemption had existed for eons, and change often leads to resistance. The miniseries could introduce a new celestial threat, perhaps an angel who believes hell should remain a place of eternal punishment. This antagonist could see Rory as a threat to cosmic order and attempt to remove her from the equation. The villain could be an archangel or an ancient demon, someone who believes Rory's existence itself is an anomaly. By actively interfering with heaven and hell, Rory may be seen as a disruptor of the delicate balance that governs the afterlife. This celestial enemy could try to manipulate her into believing she has no rightful place in either realm, forcing Rory to fight for her own sense of belonging. While Rory accepted Lucifer's reasons for leaving, their relationship remains unresolved in many ways. A miniseries could explore what happens when she finally decides to visit him in hell, perhaps centuries after she last saw him. How has Lucifer changed in his time as hell's therapist? Does he still hold on to guilt over what he had to do, or has he truly found peace? The dynamic between Rory and Lucifer could evolve from resentment to mutual understanding. Lucifer could help Rory navigate her celestial existence, just as he once did for Amenadiel. In turn, Rory could challenge Lucifer to step out of the confines of hell occasionally to see how the world has changed, to witness what he left behind. This interaction could serve as an emotional high point of the series, giving fans closure on their complex relationship. Amenadiel, now ruling as God, could also play a key role in Rory's journey. He may see Rory as a potential bridge between heaven and hell, someone who embodies both sides of divinity in a way no one else does. Would he try to recruit her as an agent of heaven, or does he respect her independence? Maze, on the other hand, could serve as an alternative mentor figure. As a demon who sought a soul, she understands what it means to carve one's own destiny against all odds. Maze could push Rory to embrace her darker side, while also warning her about the cost of revenge and anger. Their relationship could be one of reluctant respect, perhaps even forming a sibling-like bond. Since Rory has the ability to travel through time, the miniseries could introduce an even broader concept. What if she begins to encounter anomalies in the timeline caused by Lucifer's redemption work in hell? Perhaps some souls weren't meant to be saved, or their redemption has created ripple effects that alter the fate of others. The series could explore this through Rory meeting historical figures who escaped hell but now exist in a world that doesn't quite know how to handle them. A philosophical dilemma arises. If some people were always meant to suffer for their crimes, is it right to undo that fate? Rory could be caught between her father's ideology and the reality of what happens when too many souls cheat fate. At its heart, a Lucifer miniseries focused on Rory would be about choice. She was born from a paradox, lived a life filled with anger and loss, and yet still found love for her father. But where does she go from here? Does she spend eternity protecting souls, or does she choose to step back and live a more human existence as her mother once did? Ultimately, the miniseries could end with Rory making a decision that neither Lucifer nor Chloe ever did, choosing herself. Whether that means staying in the celestial realm, returning to the mortal world, or something in between, it would be a deeply personal choice that defines her own legacy. A Netflix miniseries about Rory Morningstar would be a natural continuation of Lucifer's themes of redemption, identity, and free will. With a blend of celestial politics, emotional depth, and supernatural action, the show could carve out its own niche while staying true to the spirit of Lucifer. It would give fans closure while also introducing fresh stories, proving that the Devil's Daughter has her own unique story to tell. A Lucifer spin-off centered on Rory sounds exciting, but it might be wise to wait a bit before jumping into production. Giving fans time to truly miss the show could make a potential project even more appealing. If the creators decide to move forward, they have a chance to craft something fresh while keeping the spirit of the original alive. A Rory-focused story has all the right elements: a compelling lead, strong ties to Lucifer, and plenty of storytelling potential. Whether it's a mini-series, a full show, or even a movie, the possibilities are endless. But for now, fans will just have to wait and see if Netflix or the showrunners make it happen. In the meantime, we can dream about what could be, and of course, keep rewatching Lucifer. Tom Ellis, who made Lucifer Morningstar an icon, recently shared his thoughts on reprising the role. While fans are eager for a Rory-focused project, Ellis has made it clear he'd only return under specific conditions. The idea of a Rory miniseries has already sparked plenty of theories. Since the finale established Lucifer as Hell's Redeemer, many believe he'd still watch over Rory from a distance. But since he's bound to his duty, he wouldn't be able to interact with her directly. This could lead to emotional moments. Imagine Lucifer watching Rory struggle, knowing he can't help. The stakes could be even higher if Rory faces a life-or-death crisis that forces Lucifer to break his own rules. Not only would this create a dramatic conclusion, but it could also set the stage for Lucifer's return to Earth, opening the door for a potential Season 7. As for Ellis, he's open to coming back, but only if it's done right. On Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, he admitted he'd prefer a movie over another season. But even then, the script would have to be exceptional. He's not interested in reviving Lucifer just for the sake of it or for financial reasons. He compared it to Miranda, a British comedy that ended on its own terms rather than being dragged out. That kind of storytelling integrity is something Ellis deeply respects. If Lucifer returns, whether as a mini-series or a movie, it needs to balance nostalgia with a fresh story. Rory's journey as a Nephilim and her bond with Lucifer offer rich material. Tom Ellis is open to returning, but only if it honors the original while adding something new. And that's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Drop your suggestions for future videos in the comments section below.